So you guys may have been wondering, how come we don't see any videos on the Saab lately? Well, let's cover that in today's video. So, welcome to today's installment of Mike's Vehicle Vlogs. Thank you so much for joining me today. And yes, it has been a while since we've actually even really talked about anything with the Saab. A lot of you guys think it just sits here. The Civic obviously is a daily driver. The Grand Am definitely gets driven. The Fiesta is obviously at my wife's place of employment because that's where she is now. And the Saab, well, every time you guys see it, it just sits here. And occasionally, you know, we take it out. But, yeah, how come we really haven't done a whole lot with the Saab on the channel? Honestly, I kind of covered it a little bit in a previous video, but just in case you didn't watch it. The repairs that need to be done on this car at the moment are a little pricey, and I don't have all of the funds to really do what needs to be done to it. Now that being said, do I let this car sit here? I don't. I actually just had it out the other night. I had nothing to do. You know, I just got in the car, drove for an hour, you know, just to get it out and moving. And I drove it a few more days ago, but I do drive it. You guys just don't see it being driven all that much. And honestly, I don't drive it all that much. Honestly, because of, well, the main thing are the struts. The one strut mount's, I guess, broken. The other strut's leaking, so something could terribly go wrong if this car really is maybe pushed a little too far. But I'm gonna take it out now. You know, we're gonna take it out. But real quick, you know, we'll go over a quick, you know, walk around. There's more rust that actually has developed on this car. I mean, for the most part, it's still in really good shape, but the rust is starting to kind of take over in certain spots, and honestly, there's nothing I can do about it. But yeah, so for those of you who have never seen this car before, 2006 Saab 9.3 2.0T, the T standing for turbo, obviously. It was my stepsister's car. She gave it to me in November, this past November, because she moved out to Colorado and she didn't want to risk taking this car out there, especially with it being Colorado, snow, mountains and stuff. She now drives a Trailblazer, a 4x4 Trailblazer. So that's something that's a little more suiting for her out there than this would have been. But she desperately wanted the car to go to somebody who can actually take care of it, somebody who's not going to blow it up, somebody who's not going to destroy it. So she gave it to me. And yeah. So like I said, there's only so much that I can do with it, unfortunately. This is new. This whole area here actually is really getting a little flaky. So this was not really like this up until not all that long ago. So that's, yeah, see, she's getting a little flaky, you know, and kind of saddens me. But I don't know, the car's got almost 200,000 miles on it, so there are certain things, certain aspects of the car, it's like, is it really worth putting all the money into? Some of this is getting worse down here. This is for sure getting worse. Now this is an area that was, this was an area that was actually fixed when she still had the car. So somebody put new metal behind it. It was repainted, and obviously is no good. Somebody didn't do it right. It's starting to crack here, it's starting to crack here. It's obviously cracking here. It's a real shame. Absolute shame. And the color of this car is beautiful. I love this color. So yeah, that's gonna be pricey to fix. There's no way that I can do it right now. Little cosmetic things like this, I don't know, probably just try to glue it down. I noticed it's getting worse on this side, the other side's doing it. Little piece of this wing broke off sometime down the line. It's just held on by adhesive. It's an aftermarket wing that my stepsister bought for it. Nothing too drastic to the appearance. It's perfect. It's just a little lip for the edge of the tail or trunk lid. But yeah, this is gone. I don't know where that went. Same thing with this side, the rust. Same situation. It was fixed. It is coming back. I don't think this may be new. Right here, I don't remember that offhand. Again, this is still popping up. The rust hasn't really attacked this fender yet, from the looks of it. Still debating on whether I want to take the vinyl off of this. It's actually starting to bubble in some spots, so it looks kind of iffy. It was clean. I had it ran through the wash not that long ago, really. It still doesn't look too bad because it hasn't been on the road. There was bird poop, but I think the last time it rained kind of got taken care of. But yeah, that's pretty much it cosmetically. I still really haven't done any vacuuming to it. I haven't really done any kind of detailing to the seats yet. And that's something that I do plan on doing, especially once the weather we're in full swing. 196,240 miles on the odometer so far. I have not even put 2,000 miles on this car yet. And like I said, I try to be careful where I'm driving it or how I drive it because of the fact that the struts are a little iffy up there. I just don't want something collapsing and losing control of the car. But like I said, those struts are expensive. You cannot buy quick struts for this car. Apparently you have to actually buy the struts, the mounts, the bushings and all the other wearable stuff that you need to replace on front struts, and it's almost like $300 a side. So that's almost $600 for both front struts, unfortunately. And I was really hoping that I was going to be able to find quick struts, because quick struts are usually not as expensive and you get everything and then you just change everything out in one shot. Whereas this, you know, the springs are probably still reusable, but I would have to take these struts to work, actually use the spring compressor, take everything apart, reassemble the new struts with the springs and new mounts and bushings and bump stops and all kinds of stuff. So we're not there yet, unfortunately. We're just not there yet. I don't know. Not much has really changed with the inside of the car. Everything is still pretty much the same. So obviously, the huge thing that you guys keep hearing about when I do talk about the Saab is the fact that the stereo system's messed up. Partially my fault. The CD player was broken when she gave the car to me. I took the CD player apart, put in another CD player, thinking that, you know, it's just a plug and play thing, but no, we come to find out this is actually its own module, and it needs to be configured to the rest of this. So when I put this one back in, it locked out this CD player. So the CD player is no good. And there's a communication issue now between all of the modules for the audio system because of what I did with this. And yeah, sometimes the stereo works perfectly fine. Sometimes the stereo doesn't come on right away. Sometimes the radio will come on and I'll have static noise that goes away. Then it's normal. Sometimes it comes on and the static doesn't stop. It's just static throughout the entire driving until I turn the car off again. Sometimes I will turn the car off, take the key out, and the radio will still be on. And I'll have to go over here to the fuse block and pull the fuse to shut everything off, and then put the fuse back in, and everything's back to normal. So this has definitely gotten slightly worse since the issue has started to take place. And that's something that I was, anticipating on, which is why I was hoping I can get it resolved. But I'm just at the point now where, if need be, I don't use the radio. Let's see. It's on today. The radio is on today. Is there static? No static. So today, for some reason, looks like it's going to be a normal day for that. Go ahead and start it up. Running fine. Another new thing that I've noticed is the gas gauge. I don't think the gas gauge is working 100%. Sometimes this car will sit here and this car will display a full tank of gas. But as you're driving it, it's going to go down, it's going to go down, it's going to go down, it's going to go down. And roughly about under a half a tank, which is what I thought was in the car each time I drove it. So I filled up the tank the last time I drove it, which was a few days ago, and as you can see, it is nowhere near full. So I don't know what's going on with the gas gauge. I don't like it. There's a thing on here that gives you the range. Wait, is my outside temp sensor working? That is weird. So we had an issue with the temp sensor not working, and now it's actually reading. It's actually reading the correct temperature outside. That's bizarre. Okay. So yeah, 278 miles till empty. Now, like I said, I don't think that's going to be accurate because it probably reads the same information that this gauge is supposed to read, 281. So it kind of bounces around. That's why I never use that on this car. It drastically bounces back and forth. The gauge actually went up some, so it's weird. It's a weird situation. 285 miles till empty. I don't know. I'm a little surprised with this temp sensor thing working all of a sudden. That's weird. So what I did was I reset the trip. I put 16.5 miles on it since I drove it or filled it up, and I don't know. I guess I'll just have to keep an eye on where the gauge is sitting as I'm driving it, and see if it keeps going back to full. I've got receipts and stuff in here I gotta throw away, but yeah. So this crate here, my stepsister gave me this crate. It's got a whole bunch of stuff that she used to use to clean the car and make it smell nice and stuff. Well, it was sitting on the other seat for so long, and it turns out something ended up leaking when I moved it, and now the seat has a mark on it. I don't know if it's going to come up or not. I haven't tried yet, but that's a little disappointing. Yeah, I had to move it, and that's what I found underneath. It kind of sucks. As you can see, it sounds like it's running good. There was one instance where I went to go drive it a few weeks ago. I started it up. I was letting it sit right here before I took it out, and it almost stalled. It was running for like 3 minutes, and it completely tanked, but somehow it recovered and revved up kind of high and then came back down. So I don't know what happened. Hasn't done it since. Has not done it since. There we go. One thing that I do eventually want to tackle is I want to get rid of this. It does not work. I don't know if it's just the sub that's no good or if it's the amp there, but I don't want it in here anymore. and I know it doesn't work. And honestly, I would like to have the trunk space, to be honest with you. Now, I have no idea what is you know, up with the wiring. I have no idea what my stepsister's ex did. He did it himself. Oh, we have a fuse block back here. So that blue thing apparently appears to be a ground. That's good. So that's an easy access there. I know that red thing goes up to the battery under the hood. As far as everything else, I don't know if maybe... How's that? Oh, it snaps on, but it won't. There it goes. So I don't know if maybe any of this aftermarket crap could have anything to do with what's going on with the actual issue. Because even the amplifier under the driver's seat, which is the original amplifier, it is also a module that has to communicate back and forth. I don't know if maybe this has the ability to best that up. I don't really know if the original speakers are 100% connected. I don't know anything about this stuff. I know this little phone cable thing, this goes to the little knob on the center console for the amount of bass. See this thing? So, I don't know. There's nothing. Turn it up. There's nothing. So yeah, that's kind of where we are with this thing. I guess. Sunroof does work. The sunroof is nice to have, especially on a day like today. No leaks of any kind, which is surprising. So there's no leaks in the sunroof. We get the right low beam failure warning occasionally. Again, this thing has aftermarket LEDs in the front, which might have something to do with why the lights, even if you turn them off, they're never off. You can turn them off, you can turn them on, turn them off, and the headlights never go off unless the car is off. Again, it's a very bizarre situation. Just because you guys don't see this car in the vlogs all the time, and it's, you know, you just see it sit there and stuff, that does not mean I don't like this car at all. I love driving this car. It really grew on me after I'd first gotten it. I tried to drive it quite a bit when I first got it in November, because I wanted to really get to know this car and obviously maybe figure out what else it might need, all this stuff. It's just, I don't have the money to really invest into this car right now, so I drive it very little, just in case something bad were to happen. I mean, your front struts are very important, and if you lose a strut, something bad's gonna happen. I obviously don't want anything bad to happen, but at the same time, I don't want the car to sit, because that's not good for the car either. So I will, take it out like maybe once, twice a week, or on a day like today. I already had it out twice this week. The wife's at work, the car is accessible, I don't have to move anything, and I figured it was a good topic for the video because we really haven't had anything Saab related in quite a while. So yeah, that's why you guys don't see it, and today's a good day to take it out, so I'm gonna drive it for a little bit. It's such a unique car though, and that's the part that kills me about sadly the condition with the rotting and stuff, and the weird electrical issues and stuff. It's such a unique car But, you know, with almost 200K on it, and, you know, a lot of stuff that's rusting and whatnot, I'm honestly not sure how much is, you know, worth putting into this car, you know, to keep it going. As much as I really want to, I just honestly don't know what the overall life expectancy of this car is gonna be, you know, because of the structure of a lot of, you know, stuff. Now the engine runs great. I have not had any like check engine lights on or anything the entire time that I've had this car. We did one oil change on it. The oil doesn't even have a whole 2,000 miles yet on it, so the oil's still pretty much fresh. Transmission appears to be shifting well. I mean, mechanically it's a pretty decent car, and it's fun to drive. It's crazy fun to drive. It's got a freaking turbo gauge. Now we're definitely, obviously, not getting rid of the car anytime soon. Right now, there's no reason to get rid of this car. I still have every intention on, you know, restoring. I'd like to restore the original audio system if I can. That part there is kind of iffy, but I definitely want to get rid of the stuff in the back. I do want to replace the struts, and I definitely want to keep this car on the road for as long as I can. Not just for me and my personal interest in this car and personal enjoyment of being in this car and driving it, but because of my stepsister, you know. I don't want to bum her out, you know, by getting rid of it. And I know there's going to be a day where I'm going to have to get rid of it, because, you know, something's probably going to happen beyond my control. There's going to come a day where this car is going to have to leave, and it's going to kill me because I know I'm going to have to tell her, and I don't want to, you know, break her heart any more than she had to bear when getting rid of the car to begin with. But it's an awesome car. It's a fantastic car. I get a lot of people looking at this car when I'm driving by, and I don't know if it's because they think it looks awesome, which I honestly think it does, or I don't know if they think it's stupid and a piece of junk. I don't know, but either way, people look at it, and it's like I said, it's definitely a unique car, and I love having it. I love having this car. This car probably would be a lot more comfortable with new struts on the front. I don't know what the condition of the back struts are, or the back shocks, but I mean, this car glides pretty nicely, you know, over bumps and stuff, and there's definitely a lot of rattling. I'm actually really surprised at how many loose plastic pieces it sounds like there are every time you hit some bumps around here. And the steering wheel has a nice little vibration to it too when you hit any kind of bumps. The steering wheel has a little bit of play in it, so I think we came to the conclusion a little while ago that the rack may actually have a little bit of wear in it on that pinion gear, because the wheel has a nice little looseness here, but the car appears to respond just fine when you're you know, driving it. But yeah, I mean, with 200K coming up, I'm sure that there's so many other worn out parts there. And again, that's where the whole, you know, if it's gonna absolutely need to be replaced, how much is gonna be too much when you have a car that is this old and with the overall structural condition that it's in. Now, you know, I've only been under this car like twice, and maybe 3 times, but like obviously there was no racking points for pinch welds, you know, but like the engine cradle itself is newer. My stepsister had to have the engine cradle replaced, so the engine cradle's in good shape. The rear subframe, however, still looks pretty iffy as far as rust. I don't think there's actually any rot on it, or like any holes or anything, but I haven't been back there in a long time, so I don't know what the rear subframe looks like now. But I know the front subframe looks pretty good, and yeah, it's stuff like that. Who knows? It's really tough to think about what you should be replacing on a car that has like a 50-50 chance of staying together or not. I don't know. So I just parked at a place I'm gonna run into real quick, and now you can hear the grind in the strut. So I hit it the right way coming in here, and when I parked, I heard it grind. I also want to see if the CD player is going to shut off, so let's close the sunroof, or the CD player, the radio. So car's off. Pull the key out. All right, good. So I don't have to fight with that. I'll be right back. We're back. They didn't have what I was looking for. Let's see if the radio works. Nope. See, it's weird. It worked the entire time on the way here, perfectly fine. And now it doesn't work at all. No chime, no display. See, it tries. It glitches, it comes on, it goes off. There's probably gonna be some static with it. Or it might just not come on at all. There are really so many possibilities now with the way that this thing's been working. I don't know what to expect. Apparently I'm not going to expect anything because it hasn't come on right now. So there's a chance it's going to be a long while before it comes back on. It's been a few minutes later, it's still trying. The situation here is definitely getting worse. Hey, it just came on. Just static. Still static. So the static started fading and now I can hear music again. It is a bizarre situation. I really don't know what I'm going to do about that. Also, the thermostat outside temperature is rising, 92, 93. It is not in the 90s. It was reading fine when we first got in the car, where it said like 70 something, because it's close to the upper 60s, lower 70s. It is not 93 degrees right now outside. I'm really surprised it's reading anything at all. 94, it keeps going up. Weird. For a long while, I honestly thought I was gonna have to replace the sensor for that. Oh, now it's at 95. It's so weird. This car has so many weird electrical things with it. It's so bizarre. I don't know, but it's still running. It's still driving. It's at 96 degrees right now. Yeah, it is no way. It's way off. Alright, we're home now. We just pulled up. You can hear the static came back. So it just comes and goes. Apparently it is 113 degrees outside right now too. So, yeah, does it look like it's 113 degrees? I don't think so. It's actually gonna rain. So that's weird. It was accurate. Now it's not. I don't know. We're gonna play the game now and see if the radio's gonna turn off, because with the static it might not be working right, so it might not turn off when I turn the car off. And it did. Good, because I don't want to have to dig these fuses out. Man. Alright, so yeah. I hope maybe this cleared up a little bit for the people who may have been wanting to see the Saab stuff and wondering where the Saab is and why we're not filming the Saab, and this is what's going on with it. So, you know, we could probably start off with something a little bit smaller, like that temperature sensor, as far as, you know, tearing something apart and repairing it. So we might do that. I might, you know, decide to buy a sensor. I don't know where it's at under the hood of the car or in the front of the car. I'm assuming it's probably somewhere behind the bumper, but yeah, we could look into that. We can maybe test, you know, make sure that we have you know, good power going to it. Apparently we do. Sometimes it doesn't read anything, it's a bunch of dashes, but if the sensor's bad, it could just be, you know, the sensor's out of range, you know. But today it was actually reading somewhat accurate, and now, you know, obviously it's not accurate. So that chances are it's probably just a crappy sensor. As far as the stereo goes, I don't know. I was thinking about, you know, like I said, maybe at some points, I don't know how soon, but I want to get rid of the stuff in the trunk. I kind of wonder what would happen if I unplug the amp, you know, under the seat here, get to the amp, unplug everything. Maybe that can give it a chance to maybe reset, and then see if anything acts any differently as far as like the sound and stuff. But most of that I'm pretty sure is coming from the fact that I screwed up the CD player module. So I don't know much more I could do about that. I could take it to a Saab service center not far from here, and they want like $100 and some to re-flash everything. And again, it's one of those things, I don't really want to throw $100 for something like that, you know. But that's it. I still love the car so much. It's been such a good car to drive. I love the car, and you know, I want to fix it up. I just don't have the resources to spend that much into it right now. So that's really it. I mean, that's why we're not doing anything with it. And like I said, you know, you guys don't see it being driven all the time, but I do drive it. And yeah, you guys see it parked here, but it just doesn't sit here, I promise you that. I drive it more than you would think. I don't know where this piece of paper came from, but it's weird. It just blew out there one day, and I can't get it. That's weird. Like, how does a piece of paper get in there? How is it like the perfect size to not fit through the things, through the squares, or... Oh, wait. Alright. What is that? That's like paper, but it's like almost like cardboard. That was dumb. That was absolutely dumb. Sorry for wasting your time, guys. Alright, everyone, so that's what's going on with the Saab for the time being. There's still plenty of life left in her, but to really execute the amount of life left, it's going to require some money, and we'll get there. It'll happen. Hopefully, you know, before summer's over, we'll have the struts and whatnot. But maybe the temp sensor will be one of the first things we tackle, and we'll move from there. So if you guys enjoyed this vlog, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.